Today we are working on solving multi-step equations. The homework will be out of the Green Book, section 3.3, page 127, 1 through 41 odd, and 47 through 51. Now, if you can't do the B problems, don't do them. If you are working at the honors level, you should be able to do the B problems or attempt them. All right, so you guys don't have the Green Book at this point, so I will also attach the pages to the homework assignment. All right, so we're going to start with the warm-up. Take a minute and see if you can do this. Okay, if you need help, let's start right away with, we'll start with 2 4/5 A equals 7. So the first thing we're going to do is convert that to an improper fraction. Remember, we multiply down 2 times 5 and then add the numerator plus 4. 2 times 5 is 10 plus 4 is 14, and we put it over the 5. So it's 14 over 5A equals 7. Now, I'm going to, because there's a fraction in it, the easiest way to get rid of it is to multiply by the reciprocal of that fraction. So I'm going to multiply both sides of the equation by 5 over 14. And now we can cross cancel on the left. We're left with A. And over here we can also cross cancel. I can divide a common factor out of the first one and I'm left with 1. 7 out of 7 I'm left with 1, and I can divide 7 out of 14 and I'm left with 2. Now I'm going to remind you that when we cross cancel fractions, you always go from numerator to denominator. You never cross cancel across, but any numerator to denominator. So 1 times 5, we are left with 5, and 1 times 2, we're left with 2, and so A is equal to 5 over 2. Okay? I like reduced improper, so you can just leave it there. Pause the recording and try the next one on your own. All right, let's check our work. This converts to negative 5 over 3. We're going to multiply by the reciprocal to both sides of the equation. The left side, there is no cross-canceling, so we end up with x equals, remember, it's 8 over 1, line it up, multiply across. 8 times negative 3 is negative 24 over 5. Okay, there we go. All right, so here we begin. So there's a couple different ways to do this. There's the long way and the not longer way, or the harder way and the not so difficult way. The hard way is when we undo. There's two things that are going on in this equation. We have a multiplication right here, and we have addition right here. So we have to undo both parts. So the harder way, I suggest you not write this down. The harder way is undoing the multiplication or division first. The easier way is to undo the addition and subtraction first. So let me show you both. If I have to undo that multiplication 2x, I'm going to have to divide both sides, the whole side, by 2. So I don't want you to do that, because then you're left with this ugly fraction problem. Okay? And we're left with, now, x plus 3 over 2 equals 11 over 2. Now I have to subtract 3 over 2. X is equal to 8 over 2, so x equals 4. Now, I'm going to not only show you, if we undo our addition and subtraction, what's the opposite of plus 3? Plus 3 would be subtracting 3. So I'm going to subtract 3 on both sides of the equation. Right? That's undoing the addition. And now I'm left with 2x equals 8. Divide both sides by 2. And so this is the side that I want you to write the notes. Do not write down the hard way notes, okay? Do not write this down. Only take the notes for the easy way. Okay, now pause the recording and take the notes. Okay. All right, so go back to your notes from the last time we met, and I want you to add one more rule to it. Okay? And that is, in addition to, we are still isolating the variable to one side, we're undoing the operations with their opposite operation. You don't need to rewrite this whole thing. We always do the same thing to both sides of the equation. But now number 4 is, it's easiest to undo the adding and subtracting before undoing the multiply and divide. Okay? Pause the recording if you need to continue taking notes. Add that number 4 to your notes. All right. So on number 1, we want to undo the addition and subtraction first. So we have 2 operations happening. 5x is multiplication plus 4 is the addition. So we're going to undo the addition. We're going to subtract 4 from both sides. And I'm left with 5x equals 35. And now we are going to divide both sides by 5. And x is equal to 7. All right. On number 2, I'm going to undo the subtraction. I'm adding both sides by 4. Add 4. And now I'm going to multiply. Since what's happening to the x is division, I'm going to multiply both sides by 3. We get x is equal to 18. All right. Let's pause the recording, and I want you to try 3 and 4. Now check your work. The first thing we have to do, now I know 7 doesn't have a sign, but it's a positive. So we have to undo that 7 first. And this is like a negative 1x. So we're going to subtract 7 from both sides. I'm left with negative 1x equals 5. Now I have to divide both sides by negative 1, and x is equal to negative 5. Now let's try the next one. We have to get rid of the 6 first. So subtract 6. 7 equals negative x over 5. Now we have to do 2 things. We have to get rid of the negative and the 5. So look what I'm going to do. Multiply both sides by negative 5. Right? Negative times negative. And now I'm left with negative 35 equals equals x. Sorry. Okay? All right, we're making it a little bit more complicated. Okay, don't worry about it. I know you guys are doing this at home, so I'm happy to spend plenty of time during class. So now let's just take a minute. Let's pretend this isn't even here. Okay, it's just distributing. We're just distributing. When you see the parenthesis, we're going to distribute. So here, I'm going to get 3 times x. I get a 3x. And I'm going to do 3 times negative 2. I get minus 6. And then we have 17. Now we're going to undo the addition and subtraction by adding the 6. The opposite of minus 6 is plus 6. Addition property of equality. Now I'm left with 3x equals 23. To get the x alone, we're going to divide both sides by 3. And x is equal to 23 over 3. Okay, pause the recording, try number 6. Let's check our work. Step 1, we distribute the negative. We're distributing the negative. So I get negative 5, right? Negative times 5 is negative 5, and negative times x is plus. Negative times negative is a positive x equals 9. I now have to undo the 5, so I'm adding 5 to both sides, and we get x is equal to 14. Okay, now they're getting more and more complicated. Now, just like on the summer homework, we're doing more than just the 2, distributing the 2. Remember, each number owns the sign to the left of it, so I have to distribute a negative 2. So I'm bringing my 12 down. Now, when I distribute the negative 2, I get minus 2x. And when I distribute here, I'm going to get minus 8. Negative 2 times 4 is negative 8 equals 28. Now, we're going to combine, put all the numbers in a pile. 12 minus 8, they go in the same pile because there's no variable, is 4. Negative 2x plus 4, right? These two made 4 equals 28. Next step would be to subtract 4. Negative 2x equals 24. I have to divide both sides by negative 2. And x is equal to negative 12. Okay? All right. Now, what's happening to the y? We have two things. I've got the 5. I have this negative I got to get rid of. And I have the 4. There's actually 3 things. So let's first get rid of that denominator. Okay, so instead of dividing by 4, what do I have to do? I'm going to multiply both sides. I'm going to multiply by 4. Right? Now over here they cross cancel. I get rid of the denominator. I'm subtracting 5. I get negative y equals 35. Now, I can also, in addition to dividing, I can either divide by negative 1 or multiply by negative 1. That only works with negative 1 to clear the negative. So I could multiply, oh dear, I could multiply, my pen ran out, by negative 1. Both sides. And here we go, sorry. And once I've multiplied, there we go. I'm left with y is equal to negative 35. Okay? All right. Looks scary, not so scary. Undo these one piece at a time. So, number 9. Let's get rid of the 10 first. The opposite of 10 is a negative 10, so I'm going to subtract 10 from both sides. Negative 3/4 x equals 18. So now how to get rid of that fraction? I'm going to multiply by negative 4/3. Negative 3/4 x, I'm going to multiply by negative 4/3. The only thing I did was put a parenthesis around it. So I knew how to that the whole thing needed to be multiplied by a negative. Now remember, I'm drawing my line here so I can cross cancel. These cross cancel. Negative times negative makes a positive. Over here, 6 goes into 3 goes into 3 once and into 18 6 times. So 6 times negative 4, x is equal to negative 24. Okay, pause the recording and try 10, 11, and 12. Okay, now check your work. Number 10, I'm going to add 4. Now I have to multiply by the reciprocal. Multiply by 6 over 5. X is equal to 18. Now, I don't know if you saw that, so 5 goes into 5 once and 3 times, so 3 times 6 is 18. Okay. Number 11, we're going to subtract 9. And then I'm going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal of what's next to x. So multiply by 3 over negative 2. On the left side, we cross cancel. On the right side, 2 goes into 2 once and into 12 6 times. So 6 times negative 3 also equals 18, but it's a negative. Okay, whoops, sorry about that. Okay, last one on this page. I'm going to subtract 5. I'm going to multiply both sides by 4/3. What's next to the x? On the right side, they're not next to each other, but we can still go numerator to numerator, denominator to denominator. And here, 3 goes into 3 once and into 24 8 times. So that is equal to 32. Okay? X equals 32. I think we're getting to some more. This is probably one of the most complex. Again, if you can do the A problems, that's my goal here. If the B ones are just too much, then we can work on them in class, okay? So here we go. I first have to do some distributing. Maybe you want to pause it and try this one on your own. Okay, now check your work. So I'm going to do my distributing. I get a 6x. I'm going to distribute that here. Plus 24. Now, I have to distribute this entire negative 2, and I get minus 2x and plus 14 equals 10. Okay, we're going to put the x's in one pile. So I have 6x here minus 2x makes positive 4x. And then I'm going to put the numbers, that are all alone, they're called constant terms. The quantities without variables, that's 24, and 14, that's plus 8, 38 equals 10. Okay, I'm subtracting 38. And we get 4x equals negative 28. I'm dividing both sides by 4. And x equals negative 7. Okay? Okay? Why don't you try the next one on your own? Okay, when we get these with multiple parentheses, we work inside out. Inside out. So let's start with this. I'm going to distribute. I have the x. I'm going to bring it down. Minus 2x. And then I distribute that negative times positive 4 is minus 4 equals 16. And now I still have to do some more distributing. And this is a part that you're going to have to be very careful of. We do not do 8 minus 4 first. You still have to distribute that negative 4. So that's going to become a negative 4x. And negative 4 times negative 2x is plus 8x. And negative 4 times negative 4 is plus 16 equals 16. Now remember, we still have that 8. Bring that 8 down. Okay, we're going to combine our x terms. That makes 4x, positive 4x. And then I'm going to combine my numerical terms. That makes plus 24 equals 16. I'm subtracting 24. I get 4x equals, now be careful here, 24 minus 16. Don't try and go upside down. That's going to become a 1. That's an 8. At some point this turned off. So we work inside out. We started with, right here, I distributed the negative first, right here. And then once I got that, I distributed this negative 4. And I said, please be careful, do not subtract 8 minus 4. Okay? And first, because you have to distribute that 4, we do multiplication before addition and subtraction in order of operations. We're not undoing this, so we had order of operations to simplify the left side first. So now we're going to put the two x terms together, negative 4x and positive 8x. And then we're going to put that makes 4x, and positive 8 and positive 16 make 24. We subtract 24 from both sides. I'm left with 4x equals negative 8 over 4. And x is equal to negative 2. Okay, sorry, my stylus ran out of power. And sorry about that. That last one that we did. I could go back and do that a little bit. So I'm distributing the negative first. Then I distribute the negative 4. Or we can combine our like terms in there. Next. See? Same thing. Now, they combined their like terms. Okay. I'm going to skip this. We'll come back to this and do this as a group. And that is our slideshow.